Hello guys, what's up? This is Morteza from A Coder's Journey, and this is the Object-Oriented Programming in C# series. I'm happy to have you here in the fourth episode of this tutorial. I hope that you have already watched the previous videos. If that's not the case, of course, go over them and watch them, because what we are doing here is like a chain, in order to understand the concept and the things that we are going to do in the upcoming videos. You already have to know what we are talking about here. So we are building a kind of a foundation, if you will. Now in this episode, in the fourth episode, I want to talk about another very important concept in object-oriented programming, which is called abstraction. And abstraction, in a nutshell, it means to implement a real world concept in code. And of course, when you do this, you do not include every single detail. Of course, there are different things that you eradicate, you exclude when you want to model something in software. And this is called abstraction. Now, let me give you an example so that you guys can better understand what I'm talking about here. So as you see here, I have created a new console project, episode number 4, in my object-oriented programming in C# solution. And what I'm trying to do here is to just create a class, and I'm going to call this class person, right? And as you already know probably, as you have already guessed, we are going to model a person in this class. Now think about the concept of a person in real world. What properties can you come up with when you think about a person? What properties should I implement in this class? What methods can I come up with for a person? So of course you can say that depends, right? It depends based on the system in which we are going to use this person class. And that's exactly 100% true. So if you want to use this person class, I don't know, in a banking system, the information that you need to capture and store and implement in your class, in this person class, is 100% different from the situation in which you're gonna use this person class in an airline, for example, system. Now suppose this person is going to be used in the context of a university, right? An academic institute. Now this is probably, I don't know, going to act as a student. I can also go on and rename this as a student, doesn't matter, student or person. Now of course, for a person in an academic setting, first off, I think that we need to, store kind of an ID, right? So for example, like a student number or something. So I'm going to press tab twice, and I'm going to say, this is a student ID, right? Student ID. And probably I need name, right? Thanks, Visual Studio. And probably, let's say first name. How about first name? And of course, we're going to need last name, right? Last name. What other, information we need when we want to think about a person in the context of a university? Of course, we probably we need the major. So how about storing the major of that person, right? I'm going to try to just keep everything as simple as possible here. How about birth of date? Date of birth, right? Or birth date. Now, and so on and so forth. Now, I have one question to ask you guys. Do you think for a person, right? For a person in an academic institute, do you think we need to store the color of the eyes, probably, or the height of that person, or whether that person has black hair or, I don't know, blonde hair, and so on and so forth? I think that doesn't make sense for an institute, for an academic institute, for a university. We do not need to store the information about the height of a person or the color of their hair, or I don't know, the color of their eyes, even though for a person in the real world, we have those pieces of information, but when we want to have a person in an academic setting, we kind of abstract that real world concept. You see the word abstract or abstraction? So we try to omit the unnecessary, details when we want to implement that person, and this is called abstraction. Now, if you want to have a person in an application for the forensics, for example, for the police organizations which need to have lots of information about a person, of course, here we could have properties for the height of a person, I don't know, the color of their eyes, the color of their hair, whether they are fat, thin, I don't know, and so on and so forth. So this depends whether you are, using that person in the context of a university or the context of a police department. So based on the context, you abstract the same real world object, person, right, differently. And this is called abstraction. When you want to implement a class based on the context, you eradicate, you omit, you exclude different details because you're not gonna use them because they're irrelevant, right? This is called abstraction, and this is very, very important, a very important concept when it comes to OOP. So far we have talked about, in the second episode we talked about objects and classes. In the last episode we talked about encapsulation, again, which is very, very important. And here we talked about abstraction, again, very important topic. And I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna continue what I want to tell you guys in the next video. And finally, I just want to tell you that if you have enjoyed watching this video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, A Coder's Journey, if you haven't already done so. Click on that notification bell so that you get notified whenever I release a new video. And if you've got a friend who is, learning how to write object-oriented code in C#, you can share that video with that person. And also, I'd be more than happy, as always, to get into a discussion. So if you've got anything to say, just leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and until later.